Typ nagrał film, nie dostałem kodu do Dragon Age Veilguarda. Jestem ciekawy dlaczego.
Gary Daniels, thank you for the 2. Did you get a review code for Dragon Age? Boy, am I glad that you asked, my friend. So, kind of elephant in the room, okay? Here's the deal.
Ale zajebiste
Here's
tłuma.
the deal. They did
Ty trochę podobny do mojego, ale ma inaczej kamerę ustawioną i mi to giga leży. Ale bym się bał mieć odsłoniętą klawiaturę, jakbym hasło wpisywał. Chociaż i tak wszystkie hasła wkopiowuję, ale zajebiście ma ogarnięte.
just post a new launch trailer. We're going to look at that as well. But I will not be reviewing Dragon Age the Veilguard at launch. I will not. You can't make me. Mainly because I don't have the game. Now, we have been, full transparency, we have been hounding them about it because they've been very coy about it. For like 2-3 weeks, we've been sending regular emails, regular Twitter DMs to people we're in contact with. Like, we have been hounding them, me and my management team, to get review codes for it, even just one. And they've been mostly ghosting us until very recently, when it became clear they were like, nope, we don't have review codes for you, which was weird. Because I was like, I'm talking to people behind the scenes, some of whom have gotten review codes, others that have not. And it seems like review codes are super limited. What I've said, and I said at the top of the stream, I was talking to somebody who is in Europe, and I'll keep it vague for their privacy, but I was talking to them, and they said that there were like 3 or 4 review codes that went out for their entire country. For everybody that speaks their language, there were 4 review codes that went out for everybody. Not Jor. But it seems like review codes are super, super limited. I've seen a couple, there's people that are saying that some various YouTubers and creators got review codes. Awesome. But it does seem like it's a very limited group. Even those who went to their preview event are not getting review codes. Okay. Paul Tassi from Forbes said he got a review code. That doesn't shock me because Forbes is freaking Forbes. And that seems to be the common thread here, is if you work for a big review site like an IGN, Forbes, VGC, those places, they all got codes. It seems like individual creators, it's much more rare. Wolfhart says 3 creators, myself included, were a bit more critical than others with our hands-on time with Dragon Age the Veilguard. Not a single one of us will be getting a review code with time to actually give opinions before release. Just thought I would throw that out there. Please keep in mind, folks, that this does not mean that that my more critical opinion is better or more truthful than those who have been more positive. I'm just simply pointing out how marketing works. This also doesn't mean the game will be bad, but is something to...
Co ty gadasz, stary? Co ty gadasz, że nie dostają ludzie, którzy się krytycznie wypowiadają o grach kodu do Dragon Age'a? A była jeszcze niedawno debata na ten temat, że to wcale tak nie działa, że to ja mam foliową czapkę. Co ty gadasz?
To consider. Kayla also points out there were also people who were very positive and were also at the event who didn't get review copies. Also, I definitely think you guys should have been given codes, but I just want to point out it wasn't only people being more critical who weren't given codes. And he says, I understand that, and I did my research on this before posting. The point is, more so that everyone will hear or will know of who was critical did not get a code. I can't read today. The point is more so that everyone I know of who was critical did not get a code. With 2 of us being heavily involved in the party-based RPG scene, it's just not a good look. It is, however, a good look on the investor side of the equation, though. None of us, like, just disclosures out of the way, none of us are entitled to review codes. Okay, nobody is saying that we deserve a code or whatever. It's fine. Okay, it's fine. This comes with the territory. Honestly, at the end of the day, they need creators and they need reviewers much more than the reviewers and creators need them. Okay?
To prawda.
Because like we can make content regardless, but they need our positive word of mouth. They need our excitement if the game is good. And they really don't need our...
Nawet to nie musi być entuzjazm, to może być jedyne pokazanie gry. Ja wielokrotnie się nad tym zastanawiałem i też wam zadam otwarte pytanie. Kiedy waszym zdaniem opłaca się dać twórcy kod do gry? Nie wiem, od jakiej liczby widzów na Twitchu, dla jakiej liczby subskrypcji waszym zdaniem jest opłacalne dać komuś kod? Gdzie waszym zdaniem jest limit? Czy na przykład komuś, kto ma 2 widzów, się opłaca rozdawać kody w momencie, gdy te kody cię kosztują? Od 100k. Od 100 plus widzów. Opłaca się wtedy, gdy przynajmniej 1 widz kupi tą grę. I tyle. Wtedy to już jest opłacalne teoretycznie. Wtedy nic nie tracisz, Ale dorzućmy do tego jeszcze element tego, że nawet jeżeli ktoś nie kupi gry, to zyskujesz twoją widoczność, twoją pozycję w pierwszy dzień na Twitchu, która jest absurdalnie ważna. To jest giga istotna. No i nie możesz tego ukryć i powiedzieć, to nie jest istotne, jak twoja gra jest wypozycjonowana. Oczywiście, że jest. Taki kod się opłaca dać praktycznie, kurwa, każdej osobie, która streamuje regularnie. Każdej. Nieważne, czy ma 5 widzów, 500 czy 5000. Każdej regularnie streamującej osobie opłaca się dać kod. Jako twórca.
Negativity if the game is bad.
A jak gra samogra, a twórca ogrywa całość, to po co kupować? No słuchaj, i tak gdzieś ktoś wrzuci ten gameplay, więc jak ktoś to będzie chciał obejrzeć, to oczywiście, że to obejrzy. Więc to jest pytanie, po co kupować grę, która jest słaba? No ale to po co tworzyć grę w pierwszej kolejności, która jest słaba? Chyba nikt nie tworzy gry z ideą, zrobimy grę, którą sobie ludzie zobaczą na YouTubie, albo zrobimy chujowy produkt. Nikt nie otwiera restauracji z myślą, otworzy chujową restaurację. Raczej każdy gdzieś określa swoje cele i progi, żeby ten produkt trafił do jak największej ilości osób, albo do chociaż konkretnej liczby osób.
This is really unfortunate because optically, it seems like the more critical, independent reviewers are not being included in the review batch at launch, which is just a strange choice.
Mega ciekawym przypadkiem jest na przykład wyjście, kojarzycie taką grę Invincible na podstawie twórczości Lema? Jak duże było nią zainteresowanie? Małe. Dlaczego? Bo nie szło się do nich dopchać. Mieli postawione kampanie marketingowe dla streamerów, żeby z nich korzystali, ale zapomnieli o tych kampaniach. I tutaj mówię o kampaniach pokroju dania komuś kodu. Na przykład ja byłem w takiej sytuacji, że miałem zarequestowany kod do tej gry i chciałem ją ograć. Jakbym go dostał, to bym to ograł. Nie dostałem tego kodu, ograłem coś innego. Nie, był wtedy taki okres, że ja miałem w czym przebierać, ale chętnie bym to sobie zobaczył, ale nie wiedziałem, to nie było na tyle ciekawe, żebym wydał na to siano, no nie? I dostałem ten kod. Miesiąc po premierze ta gra już nie była relevant dla mnie. Już każdy ją ocenił, już każdy ją ograł, każdy już o nich zapomniał. Nie widziałem sensu do niej wracać, bo nie była czymś, co w ogóle było warte powrotu. No i to na tym finalnie stracił. Ja content i tak wytworzyłem, nie? I wiecie, to on to samo zaznaczył, bo to wygląda tak samolubnie, nie? To wygląda w takiej sytuacji, że za kogo my się mamy, że my jesteśmy ważni. A takich osób jak ja albo ten ziomek to jest 1000, 10 tysięcy albo 50 tysięcy. Nie wiem, możemy zobaczyć, ile jest takich osób ogólnie na Twitchu. Dawaj, Twitch Tracker. Takich osób jak ja na Twitchu jest na tym poziomie. No dawaj, zaraz załadujemy. Okej, 1000. Takich jak ja lub większych, nie? Okej, ale no, still. Stary.
If the game is really good, let the critical people come out and say that it's really good. That will go a lot farther than IGN giving it an 8 or a 9. Like, not many people make purchasing decisions based on IGN. I frankly don't know of anybody, but I know that there's not a large number at the very least.
Czy jest też taka różnica, czy recenzja wyjdzie tydzień przed, czy po premierze? Ogromna jest różnica.
If somebody that is known for being really critical and sharp in their evaluation, if they say this is really good, that carries a lot more weight. So it's just interesting. Legendary Drop says, it's just horrible optics, especially given the skepticism around the game and the current climate in the industry. People will see this as truthful people not getting codes. Unfortunately, that's the perception I think it gives. That's why I think it's a mistake. And it's bizarre because they've been very transparent up to this point, and then this is the time where they're getting cagey with it. It seems to me to be a mistake. The game could be really, really good, but what's going to happen now? Now, let's say hypothetically, we fast forward to the 28th, I think is when it was rumored that the embargo would lift. I don't know that because I don't have a review guide because I'm not reviewing the game. But if, let's say the 28th review goes up and let's say Metacritic, it's a 90 or a 91. The problem is now everybody's going to be like, yeah, but you didn't give it to the really critical people. So it's probably more like 85 when all the other reviews come in and it averages lower. Even though it could be a 91, even though it could be amazing, that's the perception it's going to leave with people. When can you talk about the bit you did play a month ago? I already posted a big video on it. Yeah, I've already talked about it a lot. So you're right. The average consumer doesn't care. Maybe not. Yeah, the average consumer, I don't think cares. But I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to win over the core fandom first and then win over everybody else. And let me ask you guys, are there any creators out there that are known for being really, really into Dragon Age? Like, are there any communities that still make content on Dragon Age, that like hype them up, the big fan channels? Because like, you know, when like Microsoft was trying to sell Redfall to people, but they for some reason invited a bunch of Xbox fanboys, as if that would quell concerns and convince people. You know what I'm talking about? And they do that, and they still gave those people like early access and preview access, but they did not give it to critical people. I guess my main point is that this review code distribution thing, even if I don't get a code, I don't really care that much, because guess what? If the game is really good, I get a new game to play and I'm happy. If the game is really bad, we get to laugh at this massive blunder and the mistakes that they made with the potential that they had. So either way, I'm good, fam. I'm good. But I think from the perspective of trying to sell the game to people, this is just an unnecessary mistake. It's just a blunder. It's just an oopsie, I think. Not every single upload, but Wolfhard plays them semi-regularly and has covered everything up to the release. That's why it's a bit concerning. Yeah, and he's a good guy, dude. Like, I've talked to him a few times. I've met him a few times. And he's a legit dude. And again, it's just an unnecessarily bad look. Like, review codes literally don't cost you anything. You generate it, you send it out, they sign the NDA, and they review the game. We've done it hundreds of times, okay? It is not a big deal. Maybe not hundreds, dozens at the very least. Like, it's really not that big of a deal. Are they that concerned over spoilers? Maybe. Getting a review code for God of War Ragnarok was also a nightmare, but they still sent it out. It was funny. I can say this now because the person I was talking to doesn't work there anymore, but with God of War Ragnarok, review codes were very, very limited. And they straight up told me we have 2 codes left. So the person I was speaking to had a list of codes, and when they handed them out, they crossed them off. And they only had so many. And they couldn't generate more because that was done by like a separate team within marketing or something. And so they got handed a list of codes that were limited, and then that's how many they could send out. And it seems like they sent them out primarily to the big channels, big review channels, and that's it. I understand that if that was the priority, I would just say, listen, guys, why didn't you generate more? Because the perception is that they're primarily sending them to the safe bets. Now, that's going to be really bad if it doesn't review well. But if it reviews well, it still is going to limit the positivity surrounding the game, because people will just hand wave it away and go, well, you only handed it to those that were going to be like sycophantic and cheery, even if that's not true. But as we've said 1,000 times, it's the perception that you have to deal with. And if the perception is that they're cherry picking reviewers, that's unfortunate. Let's see. I think they only pick people who have no bad in them, not because they're not honest, but because they know they would never rage review it for views. Well, it certainly seems like I understand the appeal of doing a safe review list, you know, of having people send out review codes to those reviewers that are going to play it pretty safe, and the worst review you might get is a 7 out of 10. I understand playing it safe, but that doesn't mean I have to like it. Neon Knight got one. His review's kind of negative. Yeah, I would love to know how they picked it apart and how they divvied them out, because the people that I would look to and the people that I want to see their reviews, those people didn't get codes, which is weird to me. Like, again, I don't really care either which way. Like, now I have more time to play Monster Hunter, and trust me, I'm just okay with that. Because their open beta goes up for PlayStation on the 28th. So I'll tell you what, I'm not that sad that now I have 3 extra days to play Monster Hunter. I am just fine with that. But I was hoping to look at certain people's reviews, and those people didn't get review codes, which is a bummer. That being said, though, let's look at this launch trailer now that we've sufficiently bummed everybody out. Let's see what they are leading with here.
To już chyba nie interesuje nas, nie? Bo ja widziałem ten trailer. No, ciekawa sprawa, ciekawa. Daje pewną perspektywę. Uwielbiam takie wideosy, które nie mówią ci wprost, a dają ci pewną perspektywę i nakreślają problem, który mógłby istnieć.